Because 1 year for them is 3,600 years for us, you can imagine how much they age. And it was something about the gravity, the oxygen levels. Nibiru is 8 times larger than Earth. Therefore, you're going to have trees, mountains, people, animals, so much larger on their planet than on ours. The Anunnaki noticed that the more the millennia were passing here on Earth, the more they were aging. And this of Anu coming to Earth and his sons being older than him is the perfect example. Basically, adulthood for the Anunnaki. They have this rapid growth to look like in their mid-20s. And it stays like that for a long, long time. They're born babies, and then they rapidly grow into this 20-some-year-old age. And then it stops for a very, very long time. So at a certain point, you have the father Anu and his sons, Enki and Enlil, that they both look like they're in their 20s. And Anu may be in like early 30s, but this is how it was, okay? When Anu visits after a few millennia, he's still in his 30s, while his sons that came here looking like they were in their 20s, they look like they were in their 40s, early 40s. And that's when it really, really sunk in. Because while they were on Earth, they knew, they realized they were geniuses, they did the math. But the thing was this, okay, so people are going to be like, so why didn't they leave? Why would you want to stay here and age? Okay. On Nibiru, yes, they were the royals, but here on Earth, they are gods. Consider that the entire pantheon of the Greek and Roman gods, the 12 Olympians, they are the royal family of Nibiru. And once Enki and Enlil came down here after Alalu discovered it, and if you want to know who Alalu is, I have the playlist. In the beginning, they came down with astronauts. So long story short, skip ahead to when they created the gold mines. The Ajiji were working there. The Ajiji rebelled. Then they created the humans as a slave race with an offspring of a bipedal monkey and their DNA, yada, yada, yada. When they started creating civilizations, then on Nibiru, there was like this lottery of who wanted to come here. And I can only imagine that Elon Musk is going to do the same when he goes on Mars. Who's going to be one of the elites to come and colonize Mars? So after they created these civilizations and all these things like this, on Nibiru, they were having like this lottery of who was going to come down here of them. And this is the thing. Once they came down to Earth, they could reign as gods. On Nibiru, they were just people. Yes, the royals, but nevertheless, people. They weren't gods to the other populations. So coming to Earth was a privilege. Put yourself in their shoes. Let's consider that Earth for them is like Mars for us. We're going to go on Mars. We're going to colonize it. We're going to create civilizations. And if you were to create a slave race there of humanity that was dumbed down compared to us, right? You would be their gods. In fact, if you watch a lot of the Star Trek episodes and movies, you'll find so many civilizations that when they see people coming down from outer space, they consider them gods. And that's exactly what happened. The last time that we see Enki and Enlil, it's Zeus and Poseidon and the Olympians of the Greek pantheon, right? Because in ancient Greece, there is this thing that they say the gods walked amongst them. It's not mythology. For them, it's history. And the depiction of them are like really good looking mid-aged people. Like Zeus himself looked like he's like a hot 45, 50-year-old. Which if they had stayed on their planet, they'd still look like they're in their early 30s. And that's the deal. To be on Earth, to be a god, you had to give up your youth. Then there is a theory that they created avatar bodies, and now you're going into the myth of Osiris and Isis, that story, which I also have in a playlist. Long story short, if the Anunnaki remain on Earth, they aged, so it was their best interest to return on their planet after a while and just have their descendants, their hybrids, rule here on Earth.